So I'm recording. Okay, good evening, sir. I believe you can see my screen now.
I can.
Hello, can you see my screen?
I can see your,
Okay, there is no problem.
I can
Okay,
see
sir.
your screen.
Okay, sir. Just a little network challenge. All right. So I want to log in. I want to log into the application. And normally, when you log in, the first setup screen you got to see is the workspace. And I've explained about the workspace, the function of the workspace, that it gives you, a list of those very features that you will be using as far as your job role or your job function is concerned. And that's why we are here. But majorly as an accountant, what you should set up here, I don't advise you to set it up to be the workspace you get to see. Instead, change it to financial dashboard, because your role, your job description is all about finance, how you can be able to manage the workflow, how you can be able to take care of your accounting processes, and your accounting functions are very important, which could contain different aspects. And so you have to change the workspace to financial dashboard to get started. So how do you do that? You come to administration, you come to my profile. When you get to my profile, you wait for it to load. Then you scroll over here on the my profile window. You scroll to after EFT payments, you come to preference. So you set up this preference. So when you have clicked on preference, this window opens. You come down to where we have default dashboard to display. So you change it. I don't want it to display my workspace. I want it to display financial dashboard, because as an accountant, as an account officer, you need to always have an overview of your finance, your reports and every other thing that has to do in that aspect, because we know that the end point of an accounting process, it's reporting, and it's very important that you make that your number one priority so as to be sure of what you're doing. So once you've done that, you then click on save. And next time when you sign up into the application, you see here we have your preferences have been updated. So next time when you sign up, what you're going to see, okay, from the very first window, when I click on the home tab, I'm going to see my financial dashboard, and it's always going to display my banking widgets. We call all these widgets the banking widget, the income versus expense widget, the profit or loss widget, the financial report. Okay, and you can also be able to do your settings. For instance, it could be you want to customize this, could be you want to view your P&L based on certain aspects. You can also be able to do that, because we know the importance of these reports, that they are very important to every organization. Okay, and that's also how the chart of account is structured based on this financial report aspects, where we have the financial statement, which is giving us a breakdown of our P&L, which is the income statement aspect, and that of the statement of financial position, as well as other transactions that are important. So this is just how to ensure that your financial dashboard is there. So on a quick note, once you have been able to do that, now the agenda for today's meeting is majorly for us to look into how we can be able to track cost by project. And that's what we'll be looking at in a minute's time. Now in Sage 50 accounting, you can manage your projects, okay? If it's in the desktop version, you can manage your project by using a feature we call jobs, okay? And it's good to know that revenue and expenses for your jobs can be tracked and compared with estimates. So you can also use what we call phases, and it could be cost codes to break down your jobs into smaller components. Now, when it comes here to the cloud version, you can also keep track of your projects, okay? You can track cost by project, because it's very important that you're able to do that, since it's required that every business should be able to keep track of their projects and their jobs, which is very important. So now, what are the advantages of doing this? There are several advantages of doing this when it comes to Sage 50, because when you use the job feature in the desktop version and also here in the cloud. Now, for the cloud, that job feature is located under the company's model. So you come to company model, you will see an option we call analysis code. So that's the option you're going to click whenever you want to track cost by project. That's the first step you're going to take. You go and locate the analysis code under the company model. And as I was saying, I said that there are advantages of using analysis code in the cloud version and of using the job feature in the desktop version. And one of the advantages is that when you're using this analysis code feature, it allows you, using it allows you to track your income and expenses for each project your company undertakes. And you can create estimates, for each of those projects. You can create estimates for those jobs. Maybe it's a contract that was awarded to your company. And as you enter materials or services used, in the course of running that project, through, it could be you're entering, let's say you're entering materials or services used during that job through your accounts payable, they can optionally be assigned, okay, to those projects, to those locations, because definitely you're going to be setting up the location. We cannot talk about a project without looking into location. There must be a location, there must be a department involved as far as a project, is concerned. And it's definitely going to, be assigned to those aspects. So you can be able to compare your actual cost with your job estimate. And that's more reason why it's very important. And also another advantage is that you can, exercise greater control over your cost and revenues when you keep track of, could be your customer invoice and also payment received for each project or for each job you carry out. And you can also print reports, okay, throughout a project duration or throughout a job's duration. So you can be able to find out what is the total amount we have spent and also what is the net revenue, that is due for each of these jobs. What is the net revenue that is due for each of these projects? So it's very important that you have an understanding of how to track costs by project. And tracking costs by project with Sage, another advantage it gives to you is that you can also, you can also maintain statistics on various projects, okay? Including, it could be the starting date, the completion date, the progress of each job, and you can be able to follow them up and also get to look at the reporting aspect, which is key for you, whereby you say provides that capability for you to be able to generate reports to display this information, showing you if a job is over or under budget for any tax that is involved. And this can help you control your cost by adjusting one tax, prior to the project completion. So to sum it up, it's very important that in Sage, you're able to, keep track of this because you can get greater insight into all your projects. You can get greater insight into all your jobs so that you know what you are spending, how long it is taking, and how much money you are estimated, to make for each of those projects. And that's a very important reason why you must do it here. So on a quick note, how do you get started? To be able to track costs by project here in Sage Cloud, you come to the company module and you come down to this feature that we call analysis code. So I am going to click on analysis code feature. Okay, so clicking on analysis code feature, you notice it brought me to this window. So this is where you're going to do the necessary setup. And here is a reason why you have to set it up, because time to time people ask me, why do we need to set it up? Now the reason is because setting up the analysis code section, which works perfectly for your project tracking, setting it up makes it easier for you to enter your project information or job information and to ensure that it is entered accurately. And it allows you to customize some areas of Sage 50 that are related to project. And one of those areas is this area. And I'm happy you're here. It enables you, by the time we are done setting this, what you should be expecting is that it enables you or helps you improve, the accuracy of your data entry. And it's very important, because of majority of your jobs where you'll be allocating payment. It could be payment for a particular purchase that was made, regarding that very job. And you can also be able to enter more information about your job, which is very important, where you can create what we call the custom field. And I have said something about the custom field before. So it's very important because this custom field in Sage helps you to provide additional information that you did not meet here in the application. So if, for example, we want to maintain other information, that we need as far as this project is concerned, it could be information like, is the job still in progress? Is the job not in progress? the status of the job, if we want to do that, it's expected that you go and set up the user-defined field. Now, how do you do that? You come to the company menu, okay? You scroll down to where we have change company settings. So when you open the change company settings option, it's going to take you to the company settings. So this is where you manage settings for your company file here in Sage. So we are concerned about the user-defined field, okay, since we are working on how we can track costs by project. So when we come over here to the user-defined field, we are going to go straight to the option that we feel is related to what we are working on. So which option should we be looking at? So we can say we're not looking at our customer, we're not looking at our supplier at this point. It could be supplier, maybe we pay the particular supplier, or okay, we can say we are looking at an item or an asset. Okay, so if it's an asset, definitely you should know the necessary information you would be needing. But at this point, we might say, okay, let's set up a user information for our document and transactions. So the document and transactions is what you're going to use when you're trying to provide additional information relating to that project or that job which you're trying to keep track of. So what do you do at this point? You come, you click on user-defined field from our company model, change company settings. Then this change company settings window opens. You click on user-defined field. It brought out this window. You scroll down to the end where we have banking transaction, because most of your tasks relating to your project will be paid through your bank, and others will also be recorded through your journals. So you can come over here to banking transaction and say, we want to maintain a particular information, which would be status of the job. Now you can see it's divided into two sections. We have the text user and we have the date user. Now, if the information you want Sage to provide for you, okay, if the answer to that information is in text format, you're going to enter that question under the text section. If it's in date format, you're going to enter it under the date section. So I can come under text section and say I want something like, let's say I need additional information like, let's say project or job status. So I can say project / job status. So what this means is I'm going to provide this information in text format. Okay, now I can come over the dates user field and say I want some information like date, okay, date of completion, date of commencement, and say date of commencement, date of completion. Okay, I can just provide these two information. I can do same, to also provide it over here where we have our journal, and also come also and then copy that of the dates completion under the dates user field section. And I also paste this. So I can then save and close this information. So this is just the starting point of ensuring that, I am able to work on that to ensure that my job or my project is properly tracked. So I avoid unnecessary issues which could arise. Okay. Now, once you're able to do this, once you have done this, we are now going to go back to our company module, scroll down to analysis code. Okay, now there's a procedure you'll be using to enter estimated expenses and revenue for a project. But before I show you how you can be able to use that procedure, it's expected that you first of all have to set up the analysis code, okay, reflecting the entire information needed for that project. Now, what do? We can come over here, analysis code 1, we type under the description here, and we say, let's call this location. Okay, location. Let's say we're a construction company, and definitely our projects could be in different locations. Maybe we are awarded contract to build a particular building, to construct a building, to construct a bridge, and location is very important. So we say location, then we come under here, you can say our first location is Abuja, then we say location is Lagos, then we say location is Port Harcourt. Okay, so location is Port Harcourt. So we can leave this very information this way. Then we move to don't bother to save it here, because if you go back, it's still there. So we move to analysis code 2. Under analysis code 2, we can decide to call this, maybe we have different departments within the organization, but if you don't need that, you just enter information that you know are relevant. So we can just call this our project. Okay, we can type in our project over there, and we come below and say, what's the nature of this project? What kind of project do we execute? Okay, or what kind of job do we execute? We can say one of them is, now we are looking at a construction kind of company. We can say one of them is our maybe plumbing service or construction, road construction of road, okay, or building, whatever that would be awarded to us. So we can just leave this very project. Could be this is the only project we leave out, or we can also say we have our plumbing and we have our plumbing service. Our plumbing service, depending on projects carried out by such kind of a company. Okay, so for the analysis codes tree, if you have other information you could want to maintain, it could be any information. I could say I want to maintain an information concerning the aspect of department. Okay, so for department, I could say we have our design department, or our construction civil, say our civil department, civil construction department, or whatever they call it. Okay, I'm not in the construction line. We can say our building. Okay, we can say we have our building department. Okay, sorry for that little breakdown. It's one of those challenges most times due to network issue. All right. Okay, so moving forward, I believe you can see my screen. So moving forward, once you have been able to set up those departments that carried out that project, you can say we have our building department, and we can say we have, other departments which are very important within such kind of organization. So, okay. Right. So I was talking about the department, you being able to set up the department, because generally a construction company, contains basic function units. Okay. And we can decide to set that up. We might say we have our financial department here, a financial department. And we can say we also have that of our engineering department. So we have our engineering, we have our engineering department. Engineering department, we have our project department, and you should know that's majorly what concerns what we'll be doing. Our project department, we have our purchasing department. Okay, our purchasing department. Okay, for the construction company, we can say we have our let's say we have our human resource department, human resources department, human resource department. Okay, so you can add, because it's just basically based on the organizational structure in that firm. And it's important to ensure that you're able to do that, because a construction company, if it's a construction company, the organizational structure of a construction company refers to both the arrangement of job roles and the reporting and operational relationships between these different roles. So irrespective of the organization you're trying to do your setup for, it's expected that you are able to ensure that those departments are captured properly. So instead of calling it department, you might want to call it division. Okay, whatever terms you use, this is just more like an organizational chart. Whatever term you use, it's left for you to do it. Okay, it's left for you to do it. You can call it any of those different ones. So I can decide to also enter another division. I can say is department/division. Okay, whatever I want to call it. So I can say I want to add our operation as a department. Maybe we have our operations /construction, operations/construction. Okay, operations/construction. And definitely is very important, because for someone in such kind of organization, they should be in charge in that very department. They should be in charge of the actual construction work. And remember, our project, we also have to enter one or two projects involved there, because this is where it's under this operations/construction, where the engineer or the equipment operator and so on will be working. And thank God we have captured that of the financial department, which could be the finance and accounting department. So I can decide to call that finance and accounting department. Okay, and many of them you want to do, and definitely, yeah, you'll be recording transactions relating to this is just the finance and accounting division, and it plays also a vital role keeping and making the construction company profitable, and also ensuring that the cash flow is positive. So what happens here, you have to capture this department, because this is where the finance manager, all kind of transaction relating from that aspect have to be posted, and also the account receivable specialist, the credit manager, the accountant, the office manager, such kind of related transactions and records have to be updated in that line, unlike that of the operations/construction, which looks into the construction manager, the engineer, the superintendent, the equipment operator, so on and so forth. So for the marketing department, which we have not added, so we can also add it. It's very important. We can call it our business development. So these are business development. Okay, business development and marketing, business development and marketing department. Okay, business development and marketing department. And it's very important because it's more like it's another word for sales department, because within such business, the construction company might have that very department too, which will be anchored by the sales director and the marketing management. And then thank God we have also captured that of the human resource department, which has to be the office manager, the people operations manager, and it's very important. Then lastly, we can add our information technology department. Okay, we know the essential we are, so we can see this is our information technology information technology department. Okay, department. You always have to do all this setup because though few construction companies had information technology departments, okay, and it's very important that it's captured, okay, because based on what they do, they use software to keep track of also their project progress, and also they work to see how everything can be enhanced. And majorly you'll be entering transactions related to the IT specialist of the company, the chief technology officer, and also their database administrator. So things like this are very important for you to ensure you set up. So once you're done with this, if you're okay with what you've done, okay, you can then move forward to saving this. Okay, so you can proceed, but we will not proceed now because of one thing. I want us to revisit the project. Let's enter one or two projects which are very important. Okay, now we can say we have we can remove our plumbing service and say, let's say we have our construction. Let's just say construction of building. Let's call it construction of building. Okay, construction of building. Okay, could be one of our projects. Then we can also look into construction of building. Okay, it's important for us. We can say, let's look into highway. Okay, just let's see how we can just set that up now. Okay, so talking about the project, the aspect of the project. Now, it's very important that we also ensure that we capture it completely, because all construction projects require meticulous planning because of the way the jobs is, okay, and based on the financial impact also. So it's very important that since it requires detailed planning, you must ensure that when you're doing your setup, you're going to ensure that everything is being captured properly, because as far as you're using Sage to keep track of costs for a particular project, definitely you will be in charge of the budgeting for that project, the logistics for that project, the bidding for that project, which has to do with proposals, quotations, the building material, ensuring that the building material or the material needed to carry out that project is available, and the aspect of the construction site safety. Okay, and you ensure that all this, because definitely transactions and different things will come up which needs you to ensure that they are all captured, and that's more reason why you need to do this perfectly and fine. Okay, we have 10 minutes to go, and we should be rounding up and ensuring that we're able to do this quickly. Now, once you're done, you have to, let's revisit this project. So we can say, let's remove this construction of building. So let's call it, we are already a construction company here. So let's call it residential. Let's change it to residential. So these are residential building project. So these are residential building projects. Okay. And we know for a company like this, this should be the first type of construction, because this year, this just majorly comprises of the building project, maintenance project, housing project, any project that falls under the residential aspect. Okay, all types of house, apartments, whatever. We know that we just specify it into this very section. Okay, so we can just call that very project. Another project we add, like our commercial project. Okay, we can say this for commercial project. So commercial project. Okay, we can have industrial project. The commercial project will just contain anytime you have any related projects involving, let's say, project like schools, stadiums, medical facilities. Okay, such kind of a retail store. Definitely, we should be falling under this line. Okay, okay. So just take note of that. And we can also have our industrial project. So we can come under here and say this for our industrial. This is our industrial project. So for the industrial project, it's just going to comprise of projects that require a high level of specialization, and things like technical planning, design skills, and so on. Could be a chemical company, maybe the organization, the construction company is given a project to build, let's say, an oil refinery or a power generating plant. That should fall under the industrial project. So it's important that it's also being captured. Then we can also capture a government kind of project. Okay, we can call this state construction project. So if we have a project from the state government, we can be able to record that separately, most especially for the line of the public sector. So this one could be something simple, like constructing a particular government building. Maybe it could be a court, or it could be a ministry. So that definitely you're going to use this to ensure that that is also captured. So we can also have our infrastructure project. And so this is our infrastructure project. This is our infrastructure project. Okay. And this is just going to take care of roads. Each time we have projects involving roads, okay, around the city, railway kind of construction. And we can also have, lastly, we can say, let's call this our federal construction project, since we have state construction project. So it's our federal construction project. So this basically just looking to federal kind of projects, okay, unlike that of the state government projects. Federal projects where the federal government owns or controls the project underlying location. Okay, it could be projects relating to federal government and kind of buildings, and it's important that we're able to do that perfectly. So once you're able to ensure that you have captured this very information, we can visit our location to review. It's very important that you always review, because accounting generally requires that you go through everything respectively, okay, so you don't make mistakes. So we say our locations for now is Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt. But each time you are awarded a particular contract, maybe you are awarded a contract in Benue State, or in Akwa Ibom State, or in any other state, in Imo State, or in Kano State, you can just always come to the company model, come to the analysis code, edit, just come over to location and put that new place you awarded that contract. And so we are awarded in Kano, awarded in my state, you can award it. You can also put that. Then you come under here, save, provided those information have been captured correctly. So once you've been able to do that, then the next thing you should be looking into is how will you be able, okay? How will you be able to start, entering the expenses, related to that very project, or revenue related to that very project. And I said that I'll be showing you a kind of a procedure which you will be using, okay, for you to be able to enter estimated expenses and revenues for your project. And I believe with the little we have done so far, you've been able to follow up with this. Now, how do you do that? How do you do that? Now, what you're going to do here is this. Which time, let's say, for example, you want to record a particular estimated expense, okay, concerning a particular project. Now, what do you do? Okay, let's use an example that I can navigate to a particular question I have here, okay, on my screen. Okay, right here, we have a kind of a purchase of inventory. Okay, purchase of inventory. We can use this very information, purchase of inventory. Let's say that purchase of inventory, okay, is linked up with our the company information. So the purchase of inventory, maybe we purchased an inventory for 500,000 or for 300,000, and it was done, payment was made through our bank account of the business. You as the accountant initiated that payment. Now you have to capture this on Sage, okay, at the same time. So what do? You come, because since the posting method you're using is not the batch posting, but it's the real-time posting, then it's expected that you capture that information. So what am I going to do? Let's say in our Abuja location, we awarded a contract to carry out a federal government project, okay? A federal government project. So it's expected that that expense, though by that period, you've already prepared your budget and every other thing required as far as the project is concerned. But the main aim now is to capture that very transaction. So what do? You come to banking, you come down to transactions, and you come to where we have our banking. Okay. Now, when you click on our banking, it's going to bring up this window for you to see. Now, once it brings up this window for you, you come over where we have bank or credit card. You click there and select the bank account of the company. Now, it's expected before here, you've already, I believe you know how to add bank, okay? If you don't know, you can follow up our previous lectures. So to add bank, it's expected you come over to, that's just part of the initial processes after you've created your company file. So I will not be going back there. So what I'm going to do, I will come here, click and select the company bank accounts, which is this. And right here, we have an available balance of 500,000. And we say there's a particular transaction we want to record that, okay, on the 23rd, today's date, if it's last week, you can always put that, okay, for that project. Let's say today's date or last week, any date, you can always enter it that there was a transaction made for so-so project in so-so location. So what do I do here? I say payee. Who did we make this payment to? So let's say we make this payment to ABC. We made this payment to ABC. We made this payment to BAS. Let's make it to BAS Global. Okay, BAS Global Nigeria Limited. Okay, and then description. Let's say purchase of inventory. It's an inventory for this, or we can say, since it's an expense, we could say we make payment for a particular expense, okay, whatever we did. But we're going to come over to the type section. If it was purchase of inventory, come over to type section and select. We can see that is involving, it's based on an account. So I'm going to put it there and select that very account. So we can say for the account we want to use is an expense, okay, we can say, okay, what we actually purchased could be, we repaired one of our truck. So we say motor vehicle expense, or maybe just normal repairs. Okay, then we come over here and say, okay, maybe what we did was purchase of equipment. So once you have captured that, depending on the accounts you have created, which of course you know that creating your accounts is very important. Okay, so we can say, let's say the account type is repairs and maintenance. Then let's say repairing of let's just say a particular equipment was repaired. Okay, so once you have been able to do that, the account type accounts, repairs and maintenance. Now we are spending for this. So how much did we spend? We spent 300,000 for this. Then once you have done that, you come over here, you see this little V, click on it, and you see this opens up. You say location, we say Abuja. Which of the projects? We say it's our federal construction project. Division, you say it's our let's say our project department, whatever department, you do that, and you say what? Mark as reviewed. But before you mark as reviewed, you need to select this option. And when you select it, you mark as reviewed and you click on save changes. So this is just how you can do that, and you can click on review transaction and see that. So thank you very much. This is just how to record, your estimated expense for